also just have been asked to tell you that Art Papers reviewed the show, and it's a good review, or I wouldn't be giving this out. But they brought copies of this, and they're on the chair on the way out, so if you'd like to pick up a copy of Art Papers, please do. And I'm delighted to turn this over to Andi so she can introduce our panel of speakers.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was yours. Don't put it too close. Am I on here? Okay. Pick it up. Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. I'm just so pleased that we have a great turnout. I'm so thrilled to be able to talk with Wes and Missy and Melissa and Donna, and I hope that you enjoy listening to them talk about this incredibly special woman, Mildred Thompson. So here we have Wes Cochran and Missy Cochran. Most of the show is derived from their collection, with the exception of one small print, so we're incredibly grateful to them. We have Melissa Messina, who is the curator of the Thompson estate, also a curator at SCAD. Yes. And then Donna Jackson, a fabulous artist, and also the executor of the Thompson estate. So we are very excited to have all of you here with us tonight. Thank you for agreeing to participate. I wanted to start and just ask, and I know that this is hard to do in brief, but if you could just each kind of tell us a little bit about your path, how you came to Mildred Thompson, how you started, you know, how you met her, how you love her work. What took you to Mildred? You're here.
Okay, Mildred, yeah. Missy and I met Mildred Mildred and Donna in 1988. We had been started collecting African American prints. Missy and I, that's our forte, is prints, works on paper. And we've been going to New York and different places, but we very fortunately, we met Camille Phillips in New York, who got us jump-started and helped us, and of course led us to Bob Blackburn in New York. So we go to Bob, and we began collecting a lot of prints from his workshop. Bob Blackburn was a very famous printmaking workshop where he invited artists from all over the world to come and work, and he kept asking us that we should meet his friend Mildred Thompson in Atlanta. And so I really procrastinated, or we didn't do a lot. I mean, we were reading books and everything we could read about African American. We had art, we had no information. And we were reading. And everything I'm reading, Mildred Thompson's not in the books. So I'm like, well, who is Mildred Thompson? But I didn't have the right books. But finally we come to Atlanta. We're gonna, Mildred has a show at Agnes Scott. And I see it advertised in Atlanta paper. Missy and I come running up here the last day on Sunday. And we get here and the show has been taken down one day early. And we didn't get to see any work. But I did have Mildred's number, so we go right back to LaGrange. We're from LaGrange, Georgia, which is not far. But I call Mildred that evening and say, this is Wes Cochran from LaGrange, Georgia. She said, where in the hell is LaGrange? And she was about to hang up probably. I said, well, I'm going to name drop somebody. I name dropped Bob Blackburn, said for me to call you. And we would like to come visit you or see your studio. She said, well, I will get back to you. She did not invite us. So we had snubbed sort of Mildred for about a year, and ironically, she snubbed me just pretty quickly. But within a couple of days or so, she called, and she said, yes, you and Missy come up here this weekend, or come Sunday. When we did, we did, and anyway, we instantly became friends. And we probably spent about 6 hours over there that day at Donna and Mildred's house in Grant Park. And gosh, I was overwhelmed, you know, with everything. We're print collectors, so we're mainly looking at paper. So I sort of asked Mildred, I said, what do you think we should get? And she, of course, that was a good question. She told me what we should get. So we bought the mystery series, that first encounter.
Oh, and if you've seen the exhibition downstairs, the mystery series is on the right-hand wall, the 5 prints on the right-hand wall.
So anyway, that first encounter led to 50 more purchases, I think, through the years with Mildred. So that's sort of how we came to Mildred, I guess, in the beginning.
Well, if I could just add to that, this is kind of the same experience that I had when I went to LaGrange to visit Wes and Missy's collection, and we chatted, we looked at a bunch of work, and I said about an hour, I think it was about an hour into the visit when Wes pulled out the mystery series, and I was floored. I love works on paper, I love prints, but I just had no idea how she did them. How did she make the paper so sculptural? I mean, I had my nose on the glass, and I'm surprised they didn't kick me out, but I mean, I was just as overwhelmed as they were at the first encounter. But sorry, Melissa, go ahead.
So I came to Mildred due to a technical glitch. Although Mildred used to always say what you're looking for is looking for you. So in her mind, it probably was intended to happen. But when I came to school at the Atlanta College of Art, I had registered, and in true Atlanta College of Art fashion, they had lost all of everything, and it was a big mess. And I showed up, and they had me in the system. Of course, I had paid my money, but they didn't have me, all the classes I had selected. And I think, in my 17-year-old, like, oh my God, what's happening? The registrar took pity on me, and I think maybe bumped somebody out of Mildred's class in order to put me in. Eric, I hope that wasn't you. And so she took pity on me and said, okay, we're going to slot you in as many, great classes as possible, and here's one that you have to take. So I walked in on my very first day of art school to a woman dressed completely head to toe in purple, including a purple afro, and I thought, I am in the right place. This is where I need to be. So yeah, I was one of many classes I took with her, and I both at ACA and after hours, and followed that poor woman around like a little gaggle of geese, trying to get her to teach me everything that she knew. But I do want to take a second to say how I came back to Mildred, actually. So after school, I curated in Atlanta for a number of years. I decided to move up to New York to finish a graduate degree, and started working at the Brooklyn Museum there, and worked for Art Table, and came back to the Southeast as the senior curator of SCAD, primarily based in Savannah, but was focusing on Atlanta, and ran into Donna at an exhibition that I curated, and as I've said to her a number of times, Mildred Thompson changed my life, and so I felt very obligated to really want to help reclaim this amazing artist who, unfortunately, Wes has still not written into a lot of the books. So unbeknownst to Donna, I had been working on a Warhol writer's grant and received the grant to do research. And of course, in coming up to talk with Donna about all the work that needed to be done toward the research, it occurred to me that a lot of work really needed to be done toward this legacy project. So I sit here now proudly as the curator of the estate as well. So.
All right, I guess it's my turn. I met Mildred in 1985. She was coming back to live in the United States after having been in Europe off and on for 20 years. I was there visiting friends. This was in D.C. And they said, oh, there's this artist named Mildred Thompson. We're having a little homecoming for her. Would you like to come? And I said, oh, yeah, okay. I go, and Mildred comes late to the event, And Mildred was not a very tall person. She was kind of small, but this presence, she had this incredible presence. She walks in the doorway, and I said, who is that? You know, it was just this presence. And I knew that I had to talk to her. She had lived in Europe. I had visited in Europe and had wanted to stay and make stay longer than, say, just a visit. And she had done it and had lived there, and I thought, well, how in the world did she do it? So we got to be friends. We started talking. And when I went back to California, I invited her to come to California to be with me and see if she'd like to change venue to see what the West is all about. So she did come, and she loved it, and she had been there, maybe 6 months, and Spelman called and offered her an artist in residency. And she said to me, Donna, they want me to go to Atlanta. I said, Atlanta? She said, yeah. Would you come with me? And I said, but Atlanta's never been on my radar. It's not, you know. And so she said, well, I'll go and we'll talk and we'll see. So she came and she talked to, I think Stewart was the president at that time. And he said he wanted her to come. And she said, if I do come, I'm coming with a friend. Can you accommodate both of us? And he said, yes, we can do that. She came back and she said, Donna, it looks good. Let's go to Atlanta. And so my background is aerospace. I was a technical illustrator. And I had been telling Mildred that I was going to give up I wanted to change. I'd been that for many, many years. And so she said, Donna, we're on our way to Atlanta. So that's how we got here. And I came and I thought I had made a horrible mistake. She was perfectly at home. Mildred's from Jacksonville, so she knows the South and she knows the weather and all that. I got off the plane and it was like 90-some degrees and it was humid and all that. And I said, oh God, I've just made the worst mistake. And I got used to it. I said, this is a foreign country. I'm going to treat it as such, and I'm going to learn about this place. I'm going to learn how to live here. And so that's what I did do, and that was 30 years ago. I did not really know the depth of Mildred's career, but I soon learned. I really learned to appreciate the incredible mind that she had, her creativity. She was her own person. Very, very, very self-confident. Just an incredible human being. And she, our journey in Atlanta began with her working at Spelman, and then she did an artist in residency at Morehouse, and then the rest of the time she spent at Atlanta College of Art and retired there. But an incredible journey, and that was my introduction to Mildred. I had no background at all about her art, but I soon learned she was absolutely incredible.
That brings me to a point that I've wanted to ask this question a number of times from all of you, and I don't know that I've had the opportunity to, but we've talked a lot about Mildred's magnetic, really intense, confident personality, and one of the things that I've always wondered about her is, in terms of her working practices, is this something, can you see this personality being expressed in her practices? Because if someone could comment on I just don't understand, again, how she did so many things that she was able to do.
I might say a little bit on that. She had training after she left Howard University. She studied in Hamburg, and she had wanted to go. She studied under James Porter, and she expressed a desire to go to Europe and to further her knowledge. And she wanted to go to Paris. And he told her, no, Mildred, don't go to Paris. I don't want you to go to Paris. I want you to go to Germany. You need the discipline. And so she followed his instruction. And she started school in Hamburg. And amazing, she didn't make any advanced preparation for this. She just got the ticket. She worked, I don't know if you know the name Samela Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
She was a friend of Mildred's family in Florida, and Samela gave Mildred a summer job so she could earn the money to go to Europe. Mildred had tried for a scholarship and didn't get it, and Samela Lewis told her, not everybody that goes to Europe goes on a scholarship. You can do this, you know. So she gave her employment, and Mildred saved her money, and she found herself on the, I think it was the SS Berlin, on her way to Germany. And in the middle of the Atlantic, she met this young man, a German, who had been doing an intern for some corporate company here in the States, and he and Mildred began to talk, and he asked her what she was doing and all that. She said, I'm going to study in Hamburg, and he said, well, have you made preparations and all that? She said, no, I'm just going. He said, you can't do that, you know? And so she said, well, I'm out here in the middle of the ocean now. I mean, that's what I'm going to do. So she did go, and then she realized that she couldn't just walk in and become a part of the school, whatever. And but this young man, she had made an impression on him, and she was staying at a youth hostel, and he knew where the youth hostel was, and he sent someone to see Mildred. And Mildred was in her room, and she got a call. Here was this man with a big black Mercedes and a Hamburg hat on, and he said, my name is blah, 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 and I met your friend so-and-so on the boat, and he sent me to take you to someone that can help you get into art school. And that's how she got into art school. Through this young man who remembered and helped her through this. But I mean, this is, you know, this is the kind of courage she had and conviction about what she wanted to do. And after she got into art school, she got scholarships to continue. And she said, Donna, they were investing a lot in me, and I wanted to give everything back to them. And she worked very, very hard. That's where I'm getting back around to what her question was. Remember that? The work ethic. She said that she wanted to give that back to the people that had given her start, and she worked very, very hard. And it came from her time spent in Germany. And she felt that her, she never treated her work casually. Every day she treated it as if she had a job. Every day she had to do something. She had, I must do something. And she was driven by that. And all of that she learned in Germany. It's a long answer to the question.
What a good one.
Yeah, okay.
I like the word that you use, magnetic, too, because I really think that seems like the right adjective, because you were either, you know, she attracted people, but she also could, there was, you know, a repelled there as well. I mean, she was a very strong personality, and you were either connecting to that, or it would, you know, there could be a fight against it as well, you know? But I think anytime that connection was there, she certainly made the most of it. I mean, the more stories I hear about, you know, getting a scholarship to the McDowell colony, not once but twice in 61 and 62, and studying with Isabel Bishop. And she writes about taking advantage of that opportunity. Like, she had full awareness that this was an opportunity that most women didn't have, most artists of color didn't have, and to study with someone of that stature was something that she, you know, writes about having taken advantage of. So I think anytime there was that connection, it was a really strong connection, and she, you know, would use that to her, and I don't mean use that to her advantage in a manipulative way, but it was just naturally, you know, fruitful relationship. I mean, Donna tells me story that they bought their house in Grant Park with artwork. I mean, that's the kind of personality Mildred was. She wanted this house and put a down payment on a house with artwork. Who does that?
Without asking me about it.
I wonder, Melissa, too, I assume that this personality was really reflected in her classes as well. And I wonder if you could comment on that. I mean, how was she with students? How was she telling you guys to practice? I mean,
Well, I mean, the testament to her as a professor, I mean, you talk to any artist in Atlanta who was making work here in the 90s, and I mean, 2 of her students, or 3, are here tonight. So there's a testament to that legacy of her being this just exceptional educator. But she was just this fountain of knowledge. I mean, she read